I can see the light in your eyes. Help me, help me, help me.
Sorry about that. So today, I'm 25 episodes in. I'm 25 episodes years old. This episode is my 25th episode. Yay! Featuring Mr. Lou Ellis. Couldn't come at a better time. Thank you. Thank you for everybody watching. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed. Thank you to all the new subscribers. There's more content coming. Hopefully we'll do another 25. 25. Change our personal settings. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Lou Ellis from way back.
Way back.
We played in a band called Hero. I don't know if any of y'all remember that, but we had a lot of fun, and we made a lot of noise
For sure.
a long time. So I appreciate you being
Hey,
here,
man.
my brother.
Thanks for asking.
Okay, well, you think we'll see? No, you're going to do great. So I'm going to read a little bit about Lou, what I know about him. Lou is a band director in Silsbee and still in music. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He claims to be a husband, a father, a grandfather, and a great-grandfather, and he's 3 years younger than me. That ain't right.
Really? 3 years?
3 years.
I
So
didn't know that.
yeah, he's just a baby over here. So we are just we haven't pre-planned any conversation. So it is just gonna be freestyle. So I hope y'all enjoy whatever comes out. And so Lou,
Uh-oh. Here we go.
here we go. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Oh,
What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
man, you know what? When you ask me that question, a lot of things, I think, but if I could do it like really short and
Yeah.
sweet, I think the main thing I've always come back to in my walk with God is the trust and obey thing. That's what I missed as an 18-year-old. Trust and obey.
Trust and obey. Very
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah, but the trust thing is the whole part of it.
Right.
See, you know, I grew up as a kid who I feel like I always knew God was there. My sister started introducing me to religion, if you will. I say that.
Your sister, I don't think I ever met your sister. Keep talking.
Well,
What's her name?
Leanna. And, you know, she was 7 years older than me or 9 years older than me, so that's why you probably never met her. And usually these days it's a little bit more debate
Oh,
goes
yeah?
on among us because, like I say, she started me in the whole religious thing.
Really? Not your
I
mom.
was in the 6th grade. Now, my mom was kind of like, you know, you talk about your dad.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Very much so. And of course, my dad, when I was on his knee and about 4 years old, told me that he was God.
I didn't know that. Holy
Real,
moly.
for real. I remember it
Wow.
like it was yesterday because in, you know, I don't know if this really happened or if it happened just if I dreamed it or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember in my head something saying, "That's not true, but don't say anything."
Wow.
I remember that.
That is wild.
So I don't know if that really happened or if that's just a childhood thing, you know.
Dad said he was God
Yeah. Because I was talking about God.
at 4 years old.
Yeah. And he said, there isn't a God. I'm your God.
I'm your God.
And I was like freaking out.
Yeah.
But I'm on my dad's knee, bro.
What
And
can
he
you
was
say?
military. You know,
Oh,
he was a P-51 Mustang pilot
Oh, my gosh.
in World War II.
Well, I know I never did meet him. He passed before we ever met.
When I was 9.
9.
Yeah.
What happened? Did he get shot down by the Red Baron or something?
He did not. He was not called out, though he was there, ready. And he became an alcoholic at that time, see, which I think many of those guys probably had that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, the World War II dudes, they had a lot of repressed emotion, you know, so.
Yeah, I can understand it seeing their guys friends go out and not come back.
Right.
So
Or see them come back just mangled, so.
whatever, yeah.
All right. So, you had a paradigm shift at 4 years old, your dad's God. And, what was your next paradigm? You were probably 8.
Yeah, well, I think it was more like 11 because that's when I started going to the local Catholic church, and we started in catechism, which is learning about the doctrine of Catholicism. And you do that for like 3 years. I was an altar boy. I watched the behind the scenes stuff that most parishioners didn't get to see.
Yeah.
Which is eye-opening.
So you
as
saw
an
the
adult.
reality.
I saw the reality. I saw, of course, the priest in the service, they would do one thing, and then behind the curtain, maybe some other things.
Uh-oh.
So that was confusing.
They didn't touch you, did they?
No, but actually, about a week before my group was confirmed in 8th grade, in the spring of 8th grade, our priest was arrested for that particular stuff.
It's awful.
So yeah, that is awful, but it leaves a mark.
Right.
That's a big, because we were all at that time considering our future and what we were going to do.
Yeah.
We were all asked, would you be willing to join the priesthood? That was one of the things they asked you.
Wow.
And so paradigm shifts probably happen a lot.
Well, I'm surprised that you were able to maintain your relationship with God, in that when you saw something so horrific, you go, oh, the church ain't real and God's not real. Look at this.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And it did cause me okay, so here's me in a nutshell. If you could boil me down to one word, it'd be truth seeker.
One word. That's
Two
difficult.
words. I guess that's 2 words. But
Well,
truth seeker.
if you hyphenate it, it's one word, right?
Yeah. If I look back on who I am, I look back, that's generally my main go-to thing is I want to know the truth about everything.
Right.
Point in case.
Here we go.
Case in point.
Here we go.
Case in point.
Here we go.
You as a youngster, you're taught about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and probably, that's all leverage for your parents to keep you in line as an individual. And then you go to school on your first day of school, a public school, and you learn that that's all a lie.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
come home and you're like, you just upset my world here.
Yeah, yeah.
So then at that point on, literally my mom said, I came home and said, there's no Santa Claus, there's no Easter Bunny, and everybody else gets $1 for their allowance, and I only get 50 cents.
50 cents. Oh, no. Dude, you got schooled at school.
I did, the very first day.
Wow.
So
This was in Helmont. What school was this?
Peach Elementary.
Peach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's called Peach MacArthur now.
Okay.
But anyway, it's totally been rebuilt.
Right.
But I wanted to know truth from that day forward. Don't give me the...
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So you got caught flat-footed,
Very much so.
with
Taking
the
advantage
fantasy.
of it, I felt like, yeah.
and you felt like, that you've been lied to,
Yeah.
led on, never again.
Right, but it happens so many times in life, right?
Right. It does. It does. It really does. But every time is a paradigm shift. You get closer and closer to the truth.
True. And, as an adult, I say there was another huge shift about 5 or 6 years ago. When I had one of those things, it's like you had to stop and take a look at yourself and go, whoa, I don't like who I've become. And what am I going to do about it, So you're a person who wants to know all this truth, yet you're not telling all the truth.
How did that happen?
I don't know if I can divulge all that information.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to. But what did you learn when you figured out what was correct, or you straighten? You're correcting your course, and that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's normal for a human to constantly be correcting his course. What came out of that? What was the new and improved Lou?
He's still working on that.
Still working on it.
And that's what I learned is basically you've been working on you all this time. I mean, you seek truth, but yet you don't really see some of the truth about yourself because you're not looking at yourself.
What are you looking at?
You're looking at everybody else.
Everybody else. One finger pointing and three back.
Right, exactly. That's that thing. So, all this time you've been wasting is what I felt like.
Well, how did you figure it out? What popped in your head that you was like, oh?
I mean, it's a long road.
Yeah, but there had to be a thought or an event that happened that clicked.
Well, okay.
You made Miss Kelly mad.
Oh, that's you bet. Yeah, absolutely.
She stays
For
on
sure.
you, I bet.
No, she's in fact, she tells me all the time now, you're a different person, and she
Good.
appreciates
In a good way.
in a good way.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes, in a good way. Well, a change did occur, and it was a big change, and in that I knew that this guy is not necessarily a good guy, even though you always thought you were being a good guy.
I've always thought you were a good guy. Always.
Nah.
I never got a bad vibe from you, ever.
Well, that's because it's easy to live the good guy on the outside, but there's another guy on the inside.
Right. That's true.
And that's the one that I think I needed to work on the most, because you can hide that person.
Right.
So it's your intent and your motives that really need attention.
Yeah.
Most of the time, because it's easy to walk around and not kill people. It's easy to walk around and
So for some it is.
Well, yeah. Well, hopefully. Yeah, I agree with you. This day it's getting worse and worse.
It is.
But is it easy to walk around and not have hatred for somebody?
It's getting easier. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Well, that's the see. It was not. I was angry on the inside.
What were you angry at?
I'm not
Don't
really
even
sure. I just know that it was
anger.
built up over years. I mean, everybody receives their amount of bullying when they're a kid, and they live with that, and then they move on, and then they make their decisions about life, and every day there's decisions to be made.
Right.
So those choices that we make, and then the things that happen to you because of those choices, probably just builds up time after time. And
Over time, if you don't figure it out, you don't get it off, it just builds and it grows, and then you become, that's when you become so angry that you do lash out.
or something.
Or something. Uh-oh, was there a something?
There may have been a something.
Okay, it's none of my business, but
Yeah. I mean, I would not like to.
that's fine. And what the actual event is really irrelevant if you came out of it
Yeah.
better.
Right. And praise the Lord, I did.
Did you?
Came out of it better.
And you said this was about 5 years ago?
I don't know the
Roughly.
exact time, but I'm
5 to 10?
I'm guessing 5, somewhere in the last decade. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A big shift happened.
So you were 50-ish
Ish.
when this happened. I mean, think about how, basically what that means is that we're constantly reevaluating, evolving, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and don't quit.
Yeah. No.
Keep trying to get it figured out.
Yeah. And this may just be one event.
You may
There
have
may
3
be
or
more.
4. Yeah, probably do. I would guess that as your brain evolves, they say you're not even a human being till you're roughly 30. Your brain doesn't even fully form till you're 30. So I'm guessing at 40 and at 50, at 60, at 70, I mean, you're constantly seeing things different.
So getting back to your original question,
Yes,
was
sir.
what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
sir. What would you?
I wrote a couple of things down.
Go ahead.
I would say get rid of the storehouse in your heart where you've hidden all the secret sins in your heart. Because they'll be like a millstone around your neck at some point in the future when, by your own hidden desires, a door opens to you and you go into that door and you won't easily escape from that place. And so all those little secret things that you hold, you need to give up and confess.
Confess.
Ask him, beg him if you have to to withhold the harsh testing that you might endure.
Oh yeah.
Because that's me. I don't pray anymore, deliver me from, or in the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
I don't pray, lead me not into temptation, because the Bible tells us point blank that God himself can be tempted, and he tempts no one.
That's right.
So if that be the case, lead me not into harsh testing, because he does test us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, indeed. Well, life tests. Something is testing us because I feel it every day.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what it is exactly, but
Wasn't that what we've been told, to wake up every day? I mean, the whole pick up your cross and follow me kind of thing is really what I've come to know is that's what we were talking about a while ago, is trust and obey is like an everyday thing. And every day you have to wake up and pick up your tool of death,
yeah,
your cross,
Right.
implement of death, drag it with you in front of everybody who's going to judge you,
right.
and then make right choices. So you got to walk in his footsteps. You can't veer off on your own, because when you do, you're going to walk into that door again.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
This is me.
I
That's
got
what
you.
I would tell my 18-year-old self.
Okay. Do you think he would have listened? Your 18-year-old self?
Probably not. There's no frontal lobe there yet. So, yeah, I mean, hey, that's why I teach middle school kids.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them to be, number one, self-aware. Who are you? What are you here for?
Well, there it is. You're doing it. You're actually speaking to your 10-year-old self or whatever they are,
Yeah.
right?
That's where it started, right?
Okay. Well, so yeah, you're trying to heal by helping others heal.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great that you have that
Thank you. I
opportunity.
appreciate that.
Well, and that you're a nice enough guy and astute enough to even attempt it.
Grace of God.
Yeah. So you probably need
That's
to be tested for PTSD and
For sure. Every week.
wait. Well, thankfully you got a summer off now.
Whew. Yeah.
You have a lot more patience than I would.
Yeah, I don't know. I have patience, but I don't know if I have any more than anybody else does.
Well, I know that you do because I have to confess something. We're
Okay.
talking about confession. So when we were first in the band in Hero, right?
Mhm.
And Hero's about me and my pride and everything and my pretty long hair that I had. And
it was nice, man. I
it
got to
was
say,
very good. Very good. Had good hair. I think I had my mom said I had an ancestor named Curly at one time. So I'm thinking. Anyway, so I didn't have God back then when we were playing, and we had just left New Orleans, and there is a dark spirit in New Orleans, and I think it
Yeah, for sure.
latched on to me. And so when we started playing music, and you started trying to witness to me about God, I thought you were crazy. I thought you were crazy. Okay, you were carrying your cross in front of me, and I shamed you. I remember making fun of you and making up songs about Jesus freak or whatever. The whole time, not realizing God was having mercy on me through your testimony. And so I don't know if I ever have, but I want to officially apologize to you. And thank you at the same time for your patience and for not, striking back when I was striking you. You were one of my main testimonies that I could point to and say, you know what? I did it wrong. He did it right. And so I just wanted to apologize to you for that.
Wow. I'm blown away, man. Really.
Yeah.
And you're forgiven.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. But I didn't see it that way.
Oh, yeah?
No.
No? How did you
No,
see it?
man. You were like such a brother to me
Yeah.
already.
Okay, good.
Even though it wasn't, a spiritual brother, so to speak. I mean, I was new to the whole thing also.
Right.
And I was just zealous about it. So I don't even remember some of the things you're
Well,
saying.
that's good.
How about that?
That's good. I remember it. I go, but I almost remember every. I ate when it finally clicked with me, the whole God thing. I went back to everybody I could find and apologized and said, "I am so sorry for being a dick."
Wow. So that's
So this is me doing it for you. Finally,
I appreciate it too.
30
Really
years
do.
later.
That's neat. That's kind of that's uplifting, if anything.
It is.
Yeah. Well, now I'm gonna need to follow that example and do that myself, probably.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Well, everybody has their walk, but no, I've waited a long time to tell you that. And I when you called this morning and said you could come, I was like, okay, I can finally get this off my chest. Because I tell the story to people. I say, well, we used to make fun of people. I just said people. I didn't name names. But here you are. So
And now they can see one.
I hope they can see the results. I would tell my 18-year-old self to just calm the F down.
No kidding.
God, I was so tense and just, but I had no anchor. I was just blown with every wind of doctrine, so.
Huh. That's
I
maybe
blasphemed God's name. I did.
I don't see how that's possible. I'll tell you a truth. You didn't know God's name.
I didn't.
No.
I did not.
Yeah, but it's not God. That's a title.
Yeah, okay. I
You
understand
get that?
Yeah.
Cool. So you were actually living out the truth you knew.
That's correct.
So in that particular instance, I personally believe blaspheming God's name would be misrepresenting him to somebody.
Yeah.
That's really blaspheming his name.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. That's fair.
Is it?
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
So there are people out there who do that.
Right.
And yeah. That would be treacherous. I would think instant death would occur
Instant
almost.
death. But
Almost.
once you get the spirit, you're no longer have that desire to be ugly. Now you want to be beautiful, So,
Yeah.
so more about you. We're talking.
Oh boy. Okay. All right.
So you had a paradigm shift at 4. You had one at 11. We know you had one when you were 50-ish.
So the other ones would be like, okay, when you delve into a doctrine,
Yep. Delve into doctrine.
because you've delved into a doctrine,
Indeed.
right? Okay, all right. And you realize something. Like, remember how we realized when we go to the first day of school that there's no Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Okay, so in college, you realize that some of the history that they taught you is not completely true.
Okay.
Or not complete, as
Complete.
it were.
All right. That's fair.
It's not complete because when you were in high school, they had to give you a certain set of words
Version,
that
yeah.
you could teach in a school setting. But then when you start reading some other books, I don't know, nothing comes to mind, okay, how about the Civil War and the reason we fought it? Big subject, right?
Right.
And you read Eli Whitney and the Cotton Gin, and this, that, and the other. And you begin to extrapolate, put some things together that weren't there before. You begin to know there's a deeper reason for all this. And then you actually go to Washington, D.C., and you read the words of Abraham Lincoln that are written about all this, and you begin to see a different picture. It's like some of these things happened because there was no choice in the matter.
Choice, yeah.
Okay. If you take that and then you think about God and who Abraham was in the beginning.
Not Abraham Lincoln,
No, Abraham,
the Jew, the first Jew.
actually the first Hebrew,
Okay.
because he was a pagan.
Right.
He was a Chaldean.
Right.
And when he crossed over the Jordan, following the direction that God gave him, he became a Hebrew, which really, he crossed over the Jordan at a place called Beit Abarah. Abrah.
That's Hebrew.
That's Hebrew.
Okay.
See, one who's crossed over.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that actually literally means.
Wow, okay.
So you can go to that very place today and be baptized right there. That's the place where Yeshua was baptized.
Gotcha.
At Beit Abarah.
Same spot.
Same spot.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
It is.
So where you go, where would you go to find the best version of the story? If you were going to be a news anchor and something happened and they sent you on a job or whatever, you're going to go find out the story.
The source. You
The
gotta go to
source. You got to go to the source.
Right.
Okay. So what's the best source for this story we're talking about? You can't go to Jesus because he didn't write anything down. Only what's been written. It's been written, right? Okay, well, in my estimation, he is the living Torah. Was the living Torah. Is the living Torah. The Torah, meaning the word of God given to Moses,
Okay.
which was first given to him by mouth, the breath, the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wrote it down and gave it to the Hebrews. And then it became alive in Yeshua, we call Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he was the living Torah. So what does he say in Matthew 5:17?
I don't know.
I did not come to abolish the Torah or the prophets, but to complete.
To establish. Yep.
And the word literally means complete.
Complete.
So there were
It
some
makes
things not complete.
Right.
Well, those people he were talking to were, for 200 years or so, been led by rabbis who were rewriting the law.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the law, there's two different ways of thinking about it. There's the written Torah and the prophets and the writings. They call it the Tanakh. And then now Judaism has the Talmud, which is the tradition.
Tradition. Right.
Tradition is a big word.
It is.
So
It's
file that away in your
man's-
little business. We're going to
man's
come back to
version.
that.
Man's version.
Man's version. Man's version. In 200 years, it had gone way off the tracks. Right? So he's talking to a group of people who had never been taught the way he was teaching them.
Exactly right.
And they even made note of that.
Yeah.
And so he goes on to say, if your righteousness doesn't exceed the righteousness of the Pharisees and scribes, you will not see the kingdom of heaven. You won't enter the kingdom of heaven.
Right. So he challenged them.
Yeah. And then he started bringing up some things, right? He starts bringing up some things like, you've heard it said about divorce.
Yeah.
But I tell you, if you even look upon a woman,
Yeah.
then you've already committed the sin of adultery.
Right.
Well, come to find out, if you go back into history and you read what was going on at the time in the culture of the Hebrews, they were divorcing their wives on one day, go have an affair, and a few days later come back and marry the wife again.
Oh, yeah.
For real.
Pretty shady.
Well, I'm saying
Technically
legal, but he was calling them out.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
he was doing the due diligence,
Right.
basically, of saying, "Hey, this is not right." And so, if you don't do it on the outside and do it on the inside, your inward man,
Right.
it's no good.
Right.
So, and we have Clement of Rome, an actual disciple of Paul and Peter, who wrote about these things in his epistle to the Corinthians. So it's the oldest known writing after Yeshua that you can go and read. Very interesting.
How does this tie back to Lou?
Well, because Lou started reading history as he was teaching it to
Yeah.
the kids,
Okay.
right? And got awakened to the fact that, oh, some things are wrong. We've
Repeating.
hundreds and hundreds of years later have gotten way off the tracks. And so holiness is not a thing anymore.
So, but then basically what you're saying is history has repeated itself,
yeah.
and we've got sideways, and now we're sideways again.
Now we're tradition oriented people.
Right.
Santa Claus, Easter. You see what I'm saying?
Bugs Bunny. Oh,
Did
wait,
Jesus
Easter.
celebrate Christmas and Easter?
No. That's
Did his
all.
disciples?
No.
No. Did the first church,
I don't
century
know.
church? No.
It's American holidays, probably.
No, it's not American, but the thing is, it's Roman. Right. Constantine
Okay.
started this stuff.
Right.
The Council of Nicaea. So you go back to that, and basically what they did was they combined a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Like Saturnalia,
Right.
December 25th. You know, all their main gods
Right.
were born on December 25th.
Right.
You know, so this is paganism intermingled with
Christianity.
yeah, which I don't like that word.
Okay.
I really don't. I'm not saying I'm not against Christians. I'm just saying I don't like that word because it needs to be redefined. I think today people really stop and think about it. We're following the doctrine of men, and is it all correct? I mean, does anybody even know?
That's right. Well, that's what I was fixing to ask you. How do you even know what's right? You have to go back and redefine all of these terms, and then everybody has to agree on the definition, and then you have to disseminate the definition, and now it's never going to happen.
See, you got me. This is the rabbit hole I went down.
Yeah.
This is it.
There you are. There's Lou down there.
Yeah.
Hello, Lou.
Throw him a rope.
Come back. So what? So you have to rely on faith.
True.
In the unseen, the unknown, we're never going to know. We're
Oh,
fighting
and grace.
and grace. We're fighting a battle that we can't even see. You know, I mean,
Yes.
we're fighting powers that are invisible, and that we're just going to be. Humanity has been taking an ass whipping
For sure.
since the beginning,
Yeah.
and we're going to continue until the last day. So,
Sincerity of heart, I think, and grace. Because, you know, the Bible tells us when you really study it out. Like, bro, when I first started the reading the Bible, I didn't even have anything but a New Testament.
yeah,
Where's the foundation?
no references.
No foundation
Right.
whatsoever. What does all this mean?
Yeah.
No wonder
Where
people
did
say
you-
that.
Yeah, where did you get all this from?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, is the church of Jesus and it's Gentiles only?
Yeah.
Forget about all the Jewish stuff? Wait a minute, he was a Jewish person.
Right. And now the Jews are done away, and it's the Gentiles. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think what he's done is he's reduced it to a single word out of that Bible. If it pierces your mind, you can be saved. The thief on the cross spent his whole life blaspheming, murdering, whatever he was doing. And at the last second, he didn't know anything about history or anything, but he just recognized the Savior. He lifted his eyes up to the brass serpent, and he was saved. That's, so I think God has, I don't want to say he's lowered the bar in a sense, but he's lowered the bar so we can jump over.
I will agree with you to the point that I think the less you know, the better off you are.
Almost, yeah.
I mean, you know, going back to that kid who went to school and then, he oblivious to the fact that, you know some lies. Then he comes home and everything's dashed, man.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you stole my
whole
stole my
foundation,
innocence.
man. That's right. Oh, the betrayal. That's the thing that's got me. My paradigm is went on betrayal. I'm just so, but I realized that I was a betrayer, when I was blaspheming you, blaspheming.
Well, what does Solomon say, though? He says, all is vanity.
All is vanity.
So he's basically, the more you know, the harder it is.
The harder it is, the more miserable. Not what does he say? With knowledge, increase in knowledge comes more misery. Something like that.
Exactly, something like that. Yeah, that's where it was leading me. And so here you are, boy. You want to know all this truth? Okay, get ready.
Yeah, get ready.
So for whatever reason, it's taken me on a journey, and now I'm going back and studying it. Hey, man, I've even learned some Hebrew.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, you're serious. You study much deeper than most people I know.
Most people I know, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And you could still say I'm kind of crazy in that sense. See, so you weren't wrong after all. There you go.
I don't think you're crazy at all. I mean, you are following your heart, and your heart is telling you to dive.
It is. And it took Kelly a while to get on board with this.
Do what?
Took Kelly a while to get on board with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was like, ugh, this again. Don't talk to me
Yeah.
about this again. But then little by little, she was like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. And then some things I pointed out, she's like, wow, that's really true. What you just got finished saying, it's really true. So I don't know. It's helped me to. If one thing, it's made me more compassionate towards people because they don't know.
Don't know. Exactly right. Wow.
So
that's something I've been working on just recently myself.
Right there. I mean, that's the main thing. That's one of the things I really needed in my life was compassion for people and forgiveness for myself.
That's the thing that I'm sensing most from you is that
Really?
you're having trouble forgiving yourself. But
Tell me about that.
So just realize you're like everybody else. You're on a journey. You're in the process, and forgive yourself if you conclude something that's incorrect, or and give yourself credit for the things you got right. So
Yeah. It's good. I like it.
yeah.
I'm going to use that.
No, but you've always struck me as a joyful person. Now, if that's your external, I don't know, and inside you're sad, but I'm unaware of that. But you've always struck me as somebody who sought joy, and the way you played music, you were lit up. You were very good. I remember, and probably still are. I mean, obviously, but I was so glad when you got in the band because, man, it just took it to a whole nother level. You could sing, you could play, you learned the songs quickly. You were eager to show up and do the gigs, and you would dress up, like we always was dressing up in our crazy ass. I got some pictures, by the way.
Oh, boy, I can't wait.
So let's see if I can find. Here, you look at this one. Some of that is, I think maybe halfway through.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you believe I have these photo albums from the back then?
Oh, these are awesome, man. Wow.
Look, there's you and Jay.
That old band uniform.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
That's funny.
The KWIC 108 Live.
Oh, yeah.
Got a bunch of. Oh wait, here it is. Here is. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we can get.
That was big stuff right there.
We get a shot of that lovely group right there. That was Hero, ladies and gentlemen. I
Thought
think
we
we
were
even
something.
got Ken McGriff in there.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, he played keyboards.
Where's Ken now?
He's in Nashville. He works for the Grand Ole Opry or something.
Really?
Yeah. Look, we were doing Lou Gore right here. Remember Lou Gore? I've got that song. I found it. I didn't know I had it. I still got it.
Lou Gore.
Lou Gore.
Wow.
Yes, sir. That was Halloween.
Man. Wish I had that young face again.
Man, look at the fog. This was a real fog machine that we used. So we made the fog machine. And look, you see how it's not spread out all over the room, but it's down low, the fog?
That's that dry ice, huh?
It was dry ice. So
Yeah.
we cut a water tank in half, welded some legs on it. We dumped dry ice in it, and then we put hot water, covered it with a cover, and then put a hair dryer with a hose, and it
Perfect.
blew it out of there. And it hung down on the bottom. It looks so cool.
When did we start doing that?
I don't know.
crazy.
About that time. About the time we quit. Dude, just bring back some memories. Look at that. Tell me you weren't. That was a good-looking guy with the ruffled shirt.
I can't believe you had that picture. That's awesome.
That's a good picture.
I don't have that picture.
Glory days, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
This white outfit I wore, even I was maybe 150 pounds, it was still so tight I couldn't breathe.
Boy, I was sweating my butt off
Oh,
of
yeah.
that, man.
I bet you were.
Leather pants and the heat.
We did not win that one, that Battle of the Bands. Then there's Pleasure Island.
Oh, yeah.
You were there. Let's see if I can. Not much has changed. It's still rock and roll.
V. Weiser.
Kenny Turner.
Ken Turner.
I got him. He's coming next week.
Oh, boy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Tell him hey for me. I haven't seen him in
He's
forever.
going to be like, what? Lugar.
He needs to come see me.
He's a good guy. Oh, man, look. So I want to tell a little bit of that story. So we were in, Weiser fell down or something.
On purpose, no doubt.
Pleasure Island. Oh, wait, here you are. This was in Colorado. And Debbie. Oh, my gosh. And Lil Morgan. Look at him. I love him. I have a hang out with Morgan. He's in California. So
You have to let me check that out later.
yeah. So anyway, we got a history, and it was a good history. I mean, we weren't out, vandalizing neighborhoods, and we were ravishing women, though. I have to admit, there was a few ravishing of the women, and there was some drugs, and it was classic sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but classic. And but you left first. You got the bad vibe first, and you left early on. It took me about 3 years.
Man, I was out of the frying pan into the fire.
When you jumped out, really, when you got out of the band?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, you had kids. You started having kids.
Yeah, and then I went to work for Cons. Still the same stuff.
What do you mean?
Well, all the stuff we were involved in there
Still going.
And then after that was that was a chain that had to be broken.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That took a long time.
Well,
That took a long time.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But you can also say the flesh is strong. So, how about this? So here's one of my excuses. Maybe I use the truth sometimes as an excuse. I think we're half God, half animal. Right? Jesus said, "You are gods." And if you're a child of a cheetah, you're a cheetah. If you're a child of a monkey, you're a monkey. If you're a child of God, you're a god. So I think we are part God and part animal. And those two are at war within us.
Well, I take a little different view in that I see what you're saying, but that we have that light and darkness.
Yeah.
And whichever one you feed becomes dominant.
Right?
So, yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
In
Well,
that
look,
sense.
we're getting close to the end of my memory over here on this disc. What is there a summary? You gave me one word, truth seeker, hyphenated. Could you sum it up in a phrase or a sentence? Or what would you tell the future? What would you tell the people that are going to see this 10 years from now? Because I did a podcast 10 years ago called Rock Deep. And I still get hits on that.
Yeah.
And so this lives forever.
Well, okay. I think, what I would tell people who might find this would be a Berean, study things out for yourself, find a source as best you can, and read it yourself. Don't listen to another human being,
Right.
because when you stand before your Maker, it's you and Him.
That's right.
And you can't say, but so and so told me this or that. It's all about you and your relationship with Him.
Right.
Is how you end up.
That's correct.
See, He either knows you or He doesn't.
That's right. So don't be fooled.
Yeah, definitely don't be fooled. And they warned us not to be.
Right.
Because the word prophet in the Bible really means teacher. And there will be false teachers.
Right.
And there are.
There are many.
And they're monetarily obligated to tell you a story to keep you in the seat, to keep you paying their bills.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
No, that's a hell of a way to look at it. Monetarily obligated.
Yeah.
To tell their story.
And they tell the same stories over and over again.
Right, right.
And I'm just like, I'm done with that. I've heard all that. I
Right.
don't need that anymore. I need to get into the real meat.
The real meat.
Yeah.
You don't need a church. You don't need a pastor. You don't need I need to have a direct connection
Absolutely.
to God to get the truth.
Like Abraham did.
Right.
So
Make the connection.
make the connection.
There it is. That's
Love it.
That's a good way to end it.
I like that.
Dude, we made a connection.
Boom.
It's so good to see you again.
You too. Thank
You
you.
hungry? I'm starving.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. We're going to go to Rick and Jack's. Y'all need to go check out Rick and Jack's here in Vidor if you haven't. So, peace. Thanks for coming.